an all-time high inflation in the country. A UN team has concluded there are reasonable grounds to believe sexual violence, including rape and gang rape, was committed during the Hamas attacks on Israel on 7th of October 2023. In sports, Paris Saint-Germain's preparations for Tuesday's Champions League last 16-leg away to Real Sociedad have been overshadowed by coach Luis Enrique's handling of starman Kylian Mbappe. Welcome to News Hour here on TV Sapiencia with me, Choma Vickwemeka. Now the news in full. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo yesterday Monday advised that Nigeria should approach the government of Zimbabwe for a solution to the current all-time high inflation in the country. He noted that since Zimbabwe was recently confronted with the same problem and came out of it, the Southern African country would have useful advice for Nigeria. In its latest release, the National Bureau of Statistics put Nigeria's inflation at 29.9%. The country is currently grappling with high cost of living, with pockets of protest breaking out across the country as Nigerians contend with increasing prices of foodstuffs. Obasanjo speaking on Monday at a youth leadership symposium as part of activities lined up for his 87th birthday said Nigeria had Zimbabwe to learn from. The symposium, with the theme Opportunities for Peace, Roles of the Youth in Conflict Prevention in Africa, was held at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta. Away from that, still on inflation, the African Development Bank Board of Directors has approved $134 million for Nigeria to implement an emergency food production plan. AFDB President Akinwumi Adesina said this. According to him, talks are also ongoing for a $1.7 billion economic budget support loan, as well as the launch of a $1 billion agro-industrial processes in 28 states. Additional made the disclosure during an interview with journalists in Lagos yesterday Monday. The development came amid a biting food shortage that has led the hunger protest in Nigerian state and most recently attacks on greenhouses, warehouses in Abuja, Ogun, Niger and Kaduna states in Nigeria. We move to security. The Nigerian police force has reiterated its ban on the use of point-of-sale terminal machines and other mobile money transaction devices within police stations and other police facilities across the country. The NPF said the ban followed public outcry on alleged illegal and illicit transactions through point-of-sale machine operators and connivance with certain police operatives. This was contained in a statement signed by the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Olumiwa Adejobi, yesterday Monday. Adejobi said it had come to the attention of the police authorities that some commands and formations of the NPF continue to flout the regulation and that the ban was aimed at preserving the security and integrity of police operations. Ahead of the implementation of the Stephen Oronsaye report, the National President Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, Tommy Etim, has warned the federal government that job loss at this critical time in the country could lead to mass protest. 12 years after it received the Stephen Oronsaye report, the federal government last Monday approved the implementation of some of its recommendations to reduce the cost of governance. Consequently, 29 government agencies will be merged, even as 8 parastatals will be subsumed into 8 other agencies. More so, 4 agencies have been relocated to 4 various ministries, while 1 was earmarked for scrapping. We are following up on this story and we will keep updating you as it unfolds. Away from that, billionaire businessman Aliko Dangote has named the 120-kilometer road leading to his refinery in Lagos after the late Herbert Wigwe in recognition of his exceptional contributions to the project. The announcement was made on Monday during a special event held at Eco Hotel, Lagos, titled Celebrating Herbert Wigwe, a Professional Legacy. Dangote paid tribute to the former chief executive officer of Access Holdings, highlighting Wigwe's dedication and expertise. On February 9, Wigwe, his wife Doreen, a son Chizi, and a former group chairman of the Nigerian Exchange Group, Abimbola Ogunbajo, died in a helicopter crash that occurred near a border town between California and Nevada in the United States of America. The federal government has said 100% scanning of cargo rather than physical inspection will soon be implemented within the Nigerian Ports Authority. Federal government also disclosed plans to upgrade cargo scanning from the present status of 25% to 100% by procuring 4 additional scanners where there is currently one, noting that the move will bolster the effectiveness and efficiency of operations. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Transportation, Marine and Blue Economy, Olufemi Oloruntola, said these when he received in the audience, the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of the APM Terminals in Abuja. He assured the management team of APM Terminals that the present administration is ready to tinker with ports operations to realize the 10 trillion naira projection for the sector. The Nigeria Communications Commission, NCC, said yesterday that SIM cards previously linked to the National Identification Numbers, NIN, were bad because they were bad. It also explained that the job of using NIN to track kidnappers currently terrorizing the country is that of the police. He said some SIM cards had verification and identification issues such as disparity in information, including names and other data. It will be recalled that many subscribers have complained that they had previously linked their NIN with their SIM cards years ago, but the NCC spokesman said some lines were bad because the information on the NIN did not tally with what the customers registered their SIM cards with. He said subscribers will have to visit the outlets of their service providers to validate their NINs and resolve other matters. Away from that story, Anambra State Governor's wife, Mrs. Noye Soludo, has reassured her commitment to being in front of the campaign to protect women, children and girls in Anambra State from every form of abuse and violence. The governor's wife stated these when she received a team of partners led by IPAS and Nigerian Health Foundation at the Governor's Lodge, Amobia. The guests made up of members of IPAS, Anambra State, Ministry of Health, Justice, Budget and Economic Planning, World Health Organization, who came from policymaking meeting where it resolved to adopt 2 key policy documents into the Anambra legal books. The 2 policy documents are drafts from medical management of cases of violence against women and management of safe termination of pregnancy for legal implications. Addressing the group, Mrs. Soludo explained the need to harmonize the activities across all fronts so as to ensure that the documents are not only launched but are comprehensively implemented. Earlier in his speech, the leader of the team, Professor Brian Adema, explained that the team is carrying out an important task of adapting the existing act that's in the federal domain into Anambra law. Away from Nigeria, a UN team has concluded that there are reasonable grounds to believe sexual violence, including rape and gang rape, was committed during the Hamas attacks in Israel on 7th of October 2023. They also said there was convincing information that hostages had been subjected to sexual violence. The trip was led by Pramila Patten, the UN Special Representative on Sexual Violence in Conflict. Hamas has denied its government sexually assaulted women during the attacks. The mission team found that there are reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence occurred in multiple locations during the 7th October attacks, according to the UN reports. Children are dying of starvation in northern Gaza, the World Health Organization chief says. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has said the agency's visits over the weekend to the Al-Awda and Kamal Adwan hospitals were the first since early October. In a post on social media, he spoke of grim findings. A lack of food resulted in the death of 10 children and severe levels of malnutrition, while hospital buildings have been destroyed, he wrote. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza reported on Sunday that at least 15 children had died from malnutrition and dehydration at the Kamal Adwan hospital. A Russia patrol ship has been damaged after being attacked by sea drones in the Black Sea, according to Ukrainian intelligence. The Seja Kot, of which was launched in 2021, was allegedly hit in the early hours of this morning, Tuesday. Ukraine's military intelligence service said the Black Sea Fleet ship suffered damage to the stern as well as right and left side. The Kremlin is yet to comment. Ukrainian intelligence official Adri Yusuf told the Rafael broadcaster that the attack had killed and injured sailors on board. A SpaceX crew of 3 U.S. astronauts and 1 Russian cosmonaut have successfully arrived on board the International Space Station. The Endeavour spacecraft docked with the ISS after blasting off from Florida. The Crew 8 mission will be in space for 6 months. Space is one of the few areas where the U.S. and Russia continue to cooperate closely despite the war in Ukraine. More than 200 science experiments are to be conducted during the mission, including growing artificial replicas of human organs in the low-gravity environment, which is not possible on Earth. NASA says the newcomers will join a 7-person crew currently at the space station, which sits some 250 miles, that's 402 kilometers above the Earth. At least 35 people died while dozens more were injured as a freezing rain and unexpected snowfall hit remote areas of Pakistan over the weekend. 22 children were among the fatalities, many of whom were crushed in landslides that buried their homes, disaster management authorities said so. The extreme weather hit Pakistan's northern and western regions, clogging roads and damaging hundreds of houses. Experts were surprised by the snow, as Pakistan is typically humid in March. Mustaq Ali Shah, a former director of the country's meteorological department, attributed the unusual conditions to climate change. In sports right now, this year's Major League Soccer All-Star game will send the league's top players against the Mexican League All-Stars for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. MLS announced yesterday, Monday. The matchup will be played on July 24 at Columbus, Ohio. The MLS All-Stars beat their Liga MX rivals 2-1 in 2022 and 3-2 on penalties in 2021 in their prior meetings. Arsenal beat the MLS squad 5-0 in last year's All-Star game. Away from that, Paris Saint-Germain's preparations for Tuesday's Champions League last 16 second leg away to Real Sociedad have been overshadowed by coach Luis Enrique's handling of starman Kylian Mbappe. PSG have suffered numerous humiliating defeats at this stage of the Champions League in recent years, but they are ideally placed to advance to the quarterfinals this time after winning 2-0 at home to the Basque side in last month's first leg. Mbappe scored the opening goal in that game, but the following day, the super striker informed PSG of his intention to leave when his contract expires at the end of the campaign. We're following up on this story and we'll keep updating you. Barcelona midfielders Pedri and Frenkie de Jong are expected to miss the Champions League clash against Napoli after the Spanish club confirmed Monday injuries picked up in Liga action at the weekend. Dutch international De Jong suffered a right ankle sprain, with Spaniard Pedri picking up a new injury to his right hamstring in Sunday's goalless draw at Atletico Bilbao. Barca did not specify the duration of the pair's absence, but they could be out for more than a month and miss the Champions League last 16 second leg clash against Napoli next week. The 5-time European champions will host the current Italian champions on March 12, with the tie finally poised after a 1-1 draw in the first leg. With that story from PSG, we wrap it up on today's news hour. Let's check the top stories. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Monday advised that Nigeria should approach the government of Zimbabwe for a solution to the current all-time high inflation in the country. A UN team has concluded that there are reasonable grounds to believe sexual violence, including rape and gang rape, was committed during the Hamas attacks in Israel on 7th October 2023. Paris Saint-Germain's preparations for Tuesday's Champions League last 16 second leg away to Real Sociedad have been overshadowed by coach Luis Enrique's handling of star man Kylian Mbappe. That's it on News Hour for now. On behalf of the entire editorial news and production crew, my name is Choma Victor. Stay with us here on TV Sapiencia. We have other programs to ensure that you enjoy the rest of our transmission. Kindly be security conscious, be on the alert. The News Hour live news returns again by 4 p.m. live. Stay with us and do have a great time.